tasting coffee out there. And if you don't absolutely love it, we'll give you your money back, but you'll love it.
At Henry Equestrian, we're the horse experts. But we also have a team with the knowledge to ensure the rest of your lifestyle. Our brokers can provide you with coverage for your home, farm, vehicles, and of course, horses. Call us today to get a quote for all your insurance needs. Henry Equestrian, insurance for your lifestyle.
Farms Culinary Academy with Chef Aisha Smith-Belgava.
Yes.
And we're here and we're about to cook a very special dish.
Yes.
What are we making today?
Today we're making a Three Sisters soup, and it's my own rendition. So we have all the same ingredients, corn, bean, and squash, but we're gonna do it a little differently. And it's gonna be delicious and everyone's gonna enjoy. What we want to start with is their diced onion.
I actually don't know which is which.
1 cube of the butter.
Ginger. Garlic. That's garlic. Ginger.
Let's put the pumpkin and the squash, and we're gonna mix that together. Okay, add half in for right now. Give it a stir.
How are you going to do all of it? Take it out. Don't take it out. Don't look down at CEO Charlie Brown's here. So the pressure is on. You do a good job here.
No pressure, no pressure.
And we just want to... We're going to take our cornbread and put it in our pan here.
I'm burning our cornbread.
How did we get to a number 9 on the cornbread? How did we get to a number 9?
Okay. Are we ready to plate? All right, and let's get ladling into the bowl here.
Chef Aisha is here to let us know, how did we do?
Yes, amazing. Look at this plating, beautiful.
We actually took it from the guy behind us.
Oh.
Now it's time for us to go dine with friends that we just made.
Perfect. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Thank you.
We're absolutely honored and delighted to be back up and running and celebrating the 100th anniversary of the Royal Agricultural Winter Fair. It is going to be better than ever. There's so many new exciting things to see. The food areas are absolutely jam-packed, full of exciting, delicious produce for you to not only taste, buy, sit down and eat, but you can learn so much from the purveyors, the growers, the farmers. It is such a great way to connect with delicious food from all over Canada. It's quite easy to get lost
Oh yeah, I have no
in the
idea where
Royal.
we're going.
If you get locked in at night, there's always plenty to eat. Fresh from yesterday, fantastic. And what makes your cheese curds some of the best?
Because we make them fresh 7 days a week.
Which is your most popular cheese?
The Devil's Rock blue cheese.
I think Michael wants to.
I will have a piece, definitely. So it's great to see there is some international cuisine here at the Royal. Sharing food with people has got to be one of the most glorious things to do.
Absolutely, and we need that more than ever these days, right?
It is a great event that is packed full of so much you can do, see, smell, taste, look around, and learn. 100 years, can you believe that? That's quite a celebration.
This is a very, very, very exciting day. After 2 years, we're here. This year we celebrate a century of champions and embrace the next 100 years. The Royal is an annual miracle. 300,000 visitors, 6,000 animals at work and play. Top chefs in action, the best in food and beverages, Olympic caliber riders, and 250 specialty shops.
This 2022 edition has many elements that the original attendees of the fair back in 1922 would not recognize. Live streamed competitions, video displays, virtual reality farms, and my guess is that they would be absolutely amazed by the innovation.
We take pride in the fact that a fusion of people are coming together under this amazing umbrella, not only to celebrate the very best in genetics, but to celebrate the very best in food preparation and the art, the culinary art of enjoying the bounty that we take for granted.
My wish is to see you stand as one, to support each other through the good and the bad. Do not let jealousy or past issues cloud your reason. It is a time to stand together, to love one another. You will leave a world full of hope, and hope is the brightest star in our best possible future.
The Royal Winter Fair has evolved itself as the city has evolved. I mean, it's still steeped in tradition, but at the same time, a lot of things about the fair have changed. It is now something that attracts a crowd that is truly representative of this very diverse city and this very diverse province, and that's a good thing. If you look around the world and see the division that seems to exist in all parts of the world, you need places like this, events like this that bring people together. I hope that people who are watching us today and people who listen to the news and hear that the Royal's on take the opportunity to come down here and to visit and to enjoy all that this has to offer. Thanks very much and congratulations again.
Mark that. Ready, 5. Take 5. Stand by home with horse animation. This will be Peter here. Come on, let's make it one here. That skinny jump was shot at him on the skinny jump.
November 22nd, 1922. Although the journey began a few years earlier with the construction of this very Coliseum, the Royal's first opening day leads to our annual celebration, now a century in the making. In the ensuing decades, our roots have remained true to the original vision that gave birth to this treasured Canadian institution. The Royal resolutely became a meeting place for all Canadians, inspired by those in the fields of agriculture, education, and equine sport. Quality was paramount, with food always in the spotlight of the show. A place to compete with national judging standards would set an equal bar for all, and where exchanging ideas could elevate best breeding practices for the entire country. Over 225 rail cars transported animals from every province and 9 U.S. states, combining 17,000 entries for an audience of 150,000 who attended the first fair. The inaugural classes of Royal Champions were awarded $70,000 in prize money. Following its first opening, the Globe and Mail reported the Royal as a triumph for Toronto, the province, and the Dominion. There was a pause for World War II when the grounds were used as a base for military training and mobilization. In the late 40s, the annual tradition was restored and we were reunited. And the Prince of Wales, long before his reign today, as His Royal Highness King Charles III. As these grounds, its buildings, and we have evolved, the dream of what the Royal Agricultural Winter Fair would achieve continues to flourish. Vibrant to this day, it has been reinventing itself for successive generations. The hundreds of thousands of visitors, exhibitors, students, and stakeholders who make the pilgrimage each year are among the millions who have passed through our doors over the past century when country comes to the city. This is the Royal, a Canadian legacy that has become a welcoming place for everyone, as relevant today as it was in 1922.
Welcome. night. This year it's a 5-star event here at the Royal, so it's attracted some of the very best names in the world of show jumping. So if you want to come on down this way, we'll take a look at just a couple of the questions that our athletes will be faced with here tonight. And as if by magic, we've managed to find John Garner. John, this is going to be a test for these guys tonight.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Hello. Yeah, no, it's going to be a real test. And talking to Michel, I think I just heard you a minute ago, he was saying he's seen the horses now for a couple of days. Big Bend Challenge is one of the big ones this week, so we expect a big course. We've got a big course. It's going to be some serious jumping required tonight, no, for sure.
And I mean, we always say we've got the best in the world, but we really do have here, and I think Michel's probably taken that into account as well.
He has to, and that's the challenge that a course designer faces, right? And everything's balanced on a knife edge. You miss one way, it's too easy, and you get killed by the riders because they're so good. You miss one way too hard, and then it just becomes that much more difficult. So it's always a tough balance that he has to find. He has the time allowed that he can use too, but also the confines of the Coliseum here at a complete other level, and this amazing crowd is going to bring it up another level too.
And you've had a chance to kind of have a look round. Are there any lines, any fences in particular you think is going to catch them tonight?
Well, I mean, we've talked before. I'm not a gambling man, but I'm pretty sure jumps are coming down tonight. 1 to 2 is fairly straightforward. A triple combination early on in the course, for me, is always a challenge. You got 3 out of the turn, then on to 4 A, B, C, 1 stride, 2 stride. But then you come out of there, and you got to whip around the corner, and the Royal Horse Show barn jump, the country comes to the city. It's right in the corner here, so I think that'll be delicate enough. And then move forward for 5 strides across the middle to the Longines FEI World Cup jump-in fence. Tight 3 strides to the Canada upright. Oh my gosh, I'm exhausted already. And then it's you got to sit back. You got a little bit of a breather, but again, you got a combination jump. Coming through this bend here where we see Laura Kraut and Nick Skelton coming on to the Liverpool. And then I think it's really put up or shut up through this corner. Very, very delicate plank at the north end. And then a forward stride to a triple bar. Ordinarily on its own, the triple bar is a fairly easy jump to jump. This is not. It's out in the middle there. They've got a set number of strides to get there. It's really, really wide. And then they've got a boxy upright straight after that, and then come home.
And if we have a tie, we're off to a jump off.
If we have a tie, we're off to a jump off, different track, modification, and that's where speed breaks all the ties. But I do have one little fun fact for you, my friend. In the building tonight, and this is something that I'm not sure, I've been doing this a long time, I'm not sure I've ever experienced this. We have 4 individual Olympic champions, past Olympic champions, in the building tonight. 2 we're going to see ride, and 2 are on the ground coaching. So that is pretty special. From 1996 in Atlanta, we have Uli Kirchhoff. From Athens, 2004, of course, Brazilian great Rodrigo Pessoa. He's jumping here tonight. From, what was the one in Brazil? Rio, 2018. I'm doing my math there. The great Nick Skelton. He's out here walking. And the reigning Olympic champion, he's just coming down here right now. Ben Mayer from Great Britain. He's here too. So, I mean, I think that says all you need to know about the Royal Horse Show. It brings the best.
It certainly does. That's why we're here, John.
Well, that's why you're here. I'm going to go upstairs.
We'll let John get back upstairs. We're getting set, though. It's going to be a great night. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for some show jumping? Well, you won't be disappointed. The best in the world. They're backstage. They're getting ready. Let's send it back upstairs.
Well, Adam, you are correct. One thing you all didn't notice, too, we have 4 riders in the starting field tonight that are former world number 1s. And, you look, we have the number 5 and number 6 current rider in the world, number 10 in the world. Those are just some of the highlights that we'll be looking at. And they're all bringing their best here to compete with us on this Thursday evening for the Big Bend International Challenge at the Royal.
When I move my body just like
This evening, we would like to pay tribute to one of the families with a long-standing connection to the Royal Agricultural Winter Fair with a new award, kindly sponsored by Mr. Mark Rain and Mrs. Tara Dow Rain, and also joined this evening by Joyce Dow. The Carl J. Dow Memorial Award is presented to a family who, over the course of generations, has made significant contributions to the Royal Agricultural Winter Fair, and specifically the Royal Horse Show. Mr. Dow's love of the horse began at an early age, where as a teen, Carl worked in the summer at a stable on Big Bay Point and then later at Sunnybrook. A young member of the Eglinton Pony Club, he was recognized as a capable, kind, and patient with the horses. He later went on to become district commissioner, helping people like Jim Henry and Alan Ehrlich, who went on to ride on the Pan American team. Carl began showing at the Royal Winter Fair in the early 1960s on Neville and Florence Everly's Hunters and Open Jumpers. Carl married the love of his life, Joyce, whom he taught to ride early in their relationship. Here she began her love of horses. It was at this time Carl developed and rode his own horse, Moonraker, in the 1966 3D event at the Olympic Trials in Montreal, placing second for the Canadians. Carl moved on to the open jumper division, winning many classes on Moonraker, with Joyce being their biggest cheerleader along the way. Both Joyce and Carl rode with the Toronto and North York Hunt Club, and Carl represented them at the Royal Winter Fair in the Hunt Team class in 1993 and the Hunt Pair class in 1994 with Tom Gayford. Carl was on the Royal Ring Committee for more than 30 years, from the mid-1960s to the late 1990s. They loved the Royals' ambiance and its ability to bring together and showcase so many equestrian disciplines in one place. Carl was delighted to see his daughter Tara follow in his footsteps as a competitor at the Royal and also as a member of the Ring Committee. Tara worked in presentations for several years and eventually worked in the control booth, assisting in production. Tara was part of the Ring Committee for more than 10 years. Carl closed out each night at the Royal Winter Fair by calling into broadcast on CFRB radio station a news report summarizing the night's international jumping team results. He always signed off his broadcast, "This is Carl Dow, reporting to you from the main ring of the Royal Winter Fair this evening." Tonight, we are honoring the Dunlap family, who have been involved with the Royal since the fair's founding in 1922. Mrs. Jessie Donalda Dunlap, Moffat Dunlap, and John Dunlap are three generations that have actively volunteered and supported the Royal. Mrs. Jessie Dunlap's farm exhibited Guernseys, poultry, Yorkshire pigs, Clydesdales, and flowers at the earliest Royals. Jessie was the first female honorary president of the Royal from 1940 to 1946. Her grandson, Moffat Dunlap, was a 20-year member of the Canadian equestrian team. Moffat showed jumpers at the Royal Horse Show in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. He also won the Puissance at the Royal and was named the leading rider at the Royal Horse Show on numerous occasions. Moffat continued his involvement in the Royal Horse Show as a dedicated volunteer, representing the Royal Horse Show on the board of directors starting in 1980. Moffat was served as chairman of the Royal Horse Show Administrative Committee from 1982 to 1984, and then served as its president and chair of the Royal from 1988 to 1989. John Dunlap continued the family tradition involvement with the fair, showing ponies and junior jumpers at the Royal in the 80s, and then he became an active volunteer at the Royal. He also served as a Royal Horse Show chairman from 2006 to 2009, and then served as president and chairman of the fair from 2011 to 2013. Moffat Dunlap said, "The Royal Horse Show has always been about pursuing excellence in horse sport across all disciplines. The magic of the Royal is based on fan support and the tremendous dedication of staff, volunteers, and exhibitors. We all do our part to maintain and improve this great Canadian tradition. It's families like the Dunlaps that have woven the fabric of the Royal Agricultural Winter Fair." Joining us to make the presentation, Mark, Tara, and Cassidy Rain, and Joyce Dow. And would you please present the J. Carl Dow Memorial Award to Mr. John Dunlap as he joined us on behalf of his family Joining us as well, Moffat Dunlap, John Dunlap, Rafaela Dunlap, Daphne Dunlap, Allison Dunlap Erdody, Emily Erdody, granddaughter, Lexi Dunlap, granddaughter, and Philip Dunlap, grandson, all joining us here as we present the award to the Dunlap family, the J. Carl Dow Memorial Award. Its inaugural recipients, the Dunlaps. We'll be back in just a few moments. We have one more big special award to present before our class. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we present the Jump Canada Owner of the Year Award. First introduced in 1995, Equestrian Canada's Jumping Committee Owner of the Year Award was created to recognize the exceptional level of dedication, commitment, and generosity that owners demonstrate when supporting the Canadian show jumping team athletes. Mark Rain and Tara Dowrain, both originally from the Greater Toronto area, are now living in Raleigh, North Carolina. They have been longtime supporters of Canadian show jumping. They first became involved as owners of high-performance horses when they invested in Zoo Carlos, the gray stallion that Jay Hayes rode at the 1992 Olympic Games in Barcelona. For the past 6 years, the Rain family has supported Canadian show jumping team veteran Harold Chopping, who served as the alternate for the 1992 Barcelona Olympics, and they currently own mounts for Chopping, including Fast Forward, Gederica, and Quadrant. Since becoming involved with Torrey Pine Stable 3 years ago, the Rain family have furthered their involvement at the international level, owning 10 to 12 horses at any given time. The Rains maintain a top string for Canadian Olympian Beth Underhill. The top mounts include Mademoiselle A, Casino Calvin, Nika van den Bischoff, and Du Merci van Tienel. In 2022, Underhill guided Du Merci to a remarkable feat for a Canadian on the world stage, jumping double clear in the CSIO 5-Star Nations Cup in Le Mans, France, before going on to win the CSIO 5-Star Grand Prix in May. The Rain family also supported the Canadian team at the FEI World Championships this past August. They have also many horses winning south of the border in both hunter and jumper divisions, with Canadians Harold Chopping and Brady Mitchell. On top of their success, they own a Global Champions Tour team, which includes Beth Underhill and provides global exposure for Canadian athletes. Mark and Tara Dowrain and their daughter Cassidy, given their long-standing support of Canadian show jumping sport, are the deserving recipients of the Jumping Committee Owner of the Year for the second consecutive year. Proudly presenting a sculpture by Indigenous artist Tim Avalukiuk is Karen Henry Ouellette, manager of the jumping team, and Beth Underhill, a board member of the Royal Agricultural Winter Fair and international show jumping athlete representing Canada. So join us again, if you would, as we give a nice salute to the Rain family, again, who earned the Jumping Committee's Owner of the Year Award for the second consecutive year. As the title's partner and official timekeeper of the series, Longines is proud to be associated with today's highlight, and again, the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup. Longines' passion for the equestrian world dates back to 1869. Today, the brand is involved in the most important equestrian events around the world. The Longines FEI World Cup in Toronto is the perfect opportunity for Longines to present the new Longines Dolce Vita XYBY line. Swiss designer Yvonne Reichmuth has given the famously rectangular timepieces a new identity with a sophisticated leather straps referencing the equestrian world so dear to Longines. Their design is evocative to bridles and harness. Underway here, we have 23 horse and riders that will be joining us. You see the names scrolling across the board.
Well, if you have just joined us, a very good evening. Welcome here to Toronto, to the Royal, where we're celebrating a century of champions. 100 years this event has been around, and we're starting tonight with the Big Ben International Challenge. $138,000 in the prize fund. It's a jump-off format, so any tie for first place will take us to a jump-off against the clock. And if you're watching on the FEI YouTube channel, you can stick any questions or comments in the box below, hit return, and we'll keep an eye. And also let me know where you're watching from as well. We'll be up on FEI Facebook, so if you're watching on there, you can do the same. But let's take a look. This is Brian Mowgray getting us underway here. We start over that oxer, left-handed on the bending line, brings him down towards fence number 2. Then we roll back round this corner over the vertical. Very quickly we come down to this triple combination. Oxer 1 stride, upright 2 strides, and then pushes out over towards that oxer at 4C. Round this top corner, quite a delicate vertical. It just comes down. And it's pushing on down towards this North American League oxer at 6, and a very delicate skinny fence at 7 to meet you at the other end of that committed line. And it's quite a short 3 strides from the oxer to the vertical. First part comes down, but that's the double. Left-handed, brings them down and really stretches them out over at fence number 9. But then they've got to get everything gathered back up. Triple bar, penultimate fence on course. And then pushes down over fence number 12. And then it's round to 13. And that's where we're going to finish here in round number 1. So a couple of rails down along the way there for Brian Mowgray. MTM Rev Larev finishes on 70.39. Time allowed on this one is going to be 75 seconds. But Brian, you know, is a real top athlete. Like 21 years of age. He started off in the junior jumpers, quickly progressed through to the National Grand Prix. He's had some great input over the years from people like Laura Kraut, Nick Skelton. We saw him jump well at Washington with this horse just a week or so ago. Real nice horse. Now we turn to one of the very best in the world, Laura Kraut, the amazing Kung Fu. It's a 15-year-old horse, it's by contact knee. He really sort of defied the odds with his return to the sport. He had pleurisy, serious kind of viral infection of the lungs at the end of 2021. We weren't sure whether he was going to come back, but he is here. He's got a clean bill of health. He travelled to the Winter Equestrian Festival at the end of January. He was there till March and shot a good 4-star Grand Prix there, actually, under the lights. We saw her at Washington with this horse in one of the opening classes. Didn't jump the World Cup there with this one. Was saving it for this week. Dolores had a busy time. She was at Washington, nipped over to Europe to ride another horse. Oh, that was lucky. And now she's back here. And this is a show she really enjoys coming to. Her partner Nick Skelton never misses this one. He's here watching on tonight. And that 3 strides from 6 to 7 did walk just slightly short. So I think we'll see them using their upper bodies through that distance. Come on, Laura. This is a real big question and a real kind of committed line down here. And that plank's so delicate, and you want to get as close as you can into that triple bar. Oh, such a shame. So close towards the end of the course as well. Comes down over this final oxer and will just finish on 4 tonight. 69.84, 1 down, and it's 4 faults there for Laura Kraut, representing the USA with the 15-year-old Kung Fu. She really loves that horse. And those with eagle eyes, you'll keep an eye out on these colour of cups. If you look at this vertical that came down with Laura, it's sitting on yellow cups, and they're about 3 millimetres shallower than the white ones. So that was that triple combination. But have a look here. And that's on a yellow cup, so it's really shallow. It doesn't take much to knock it down. And a bit of a fun fact, under the new FEI rule of next year, all the top poles are going to have to be on yellow cups. So that's going to make our sport even more delicate than it has been. This is Rowan Willis. Comes forward with a horse called Blue Movie. He's known this horse literally all its life. He first met it as a foal, tried to buy it, but he wasn't successful with his bid. And in a way it was quite a good thing, because they couldn't catch the horse till it was about 2 years old. When it came to breaking her in, she was a real struggle. Rowan sometimes jokes he's still trying to break her in. But he really took his time with this horse. It wasn't until she was about 9 that she started to step up, but then, you know, she's really taken him to the world stage. The horse has been to so many championships. It's not one he can really ride at home, can't really warm it up. It's certainly got its quirks. But Rowan just accepts that, ignores it, gets on with it, and they've got a great relationship together. And it's very adjustable. You could see he just took a little check down towards that skinny fence. Came back to him. I remember seeing this horse at Spruce Meadows a couple of years ago in the biggest Grand Prix in the world, a $3 million Grand Prix, well over $1.60 m. Ah, that was a shame. And he finished second there. Tonight, though, you can see him really just speeding up a little bit now, thinking about, can I be one of the faster 4-fault rounds here? But then catches the last and will finish on the 8, 67, 57, and 8 jumping faults recorded there. Real shame for Rowan Willis, Blue Movie, but definitely one we'll see here in the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup Toronto this Saturday night.
Rowan had a great trip going on the feisty net all the way to the back end of the track here. He did what he had to do, he got her set all up there, and then just finished.
See how delicate that plank is, sits on completely flat cups. And then was having a little bit of a conversation down towards the last, and yeah, it just catches those rails, so we'll finish on a total of 8. So 3 combinations gone so far, still looking for that first clear. Ali Ramsey is next to go. Bonita. This is an 11-year-old mare. And she's had a great campaign so far here at this show. This is the sort of second weekend of the event that we're getting into. Last weekend was a national show jumping event, and they've got something called the Henry Equestrian Canadian Championship. It's a national championship, She came in with this horse, and it's a championship format, so they start off in a speed competition, and then the second night it's a 2-round jumping competition. So almost 2 complete rounds, and all the scores and times and stuff are all added together. And Ali Ramsey came in, smashed it on the first night, and then put in really good performance and finished clear and took that title, and that qualified her to be here and in the international this weekend. But tonight she's already sitting on 8, first 2 parts of the triple combination coming down. But she's been a part of this show for many years. 10 years ago actually she was at this event and won the CET medal final, and now she's back in the international jumpers. And this is a real experienced 5-star horse. We've seen her do some good things over in Europe with this horse, but believe it or not, this show is the first time she's ever jumped the horse indoors. And, you know, these tests and these questions do just keep coming at you that little bit quicker. And the level of technicality has obviously risen from the national to international jumpers from week 1 to week 2 here. So yeah, not quite the night she was hoping for. 67.59. Canadian Ali Ramsey finishes on that 16 here.
Well, we talked at the start that Michelle was really going to up the stakes tonight, and she has. Ali went with a lot of pace into that double combination.
The horse is naturally quite forward, and it's, you know, really suited to these big open arenas that Ali's been campaigning over in Europe. But it is just, you know, it's like I mentioned, you know, the tests do come a little bit quicker, a little bit faster. You just need that adjustability. Tiffany Foster next to go. Highest ranked rider of Canada in the world rankings right now. Tiffany Foster in Northern Light. Someone else who's represented her country to Olympic level. Also featured at the World Championships this year with a horse called Figure, or Figgy as he's known in the stable. He's at home this week though, so Northern Light steps forward. This is a horse that's called Nora in the barn. He was bred by the Northern Stud in Sweden, bought by Ludo Philipparts as a 6-year-old, and then the Philipparts family competed the horse and took her to the FEI World Breeding Championships as a 7-year-old, where she was 7th. And then Olivier Philipparts brought the horse over for Eric Lamaze to try, and even though Eric didn't think too much of the horse in the video he'd seen, Olivier brought it over anyway. One of Eric's riders sat on the horse. Eric called Tiffany. She sat on the horse and knew instantly it's one that she just had to have. She's jumped a few big 1.60 m competitions with this horse, but I'd say this is probably one of the more technical tracks they've jumped together indoors. Tiffany definitely a crowd favourite here. Sim double. Looking on your screen, it probably looks like, you know, they've got so much room to sort of make adjustments between fences. But it certainly doesn't feel like that when you're in these smaller indoor arenas. But when it does come to World Cup, you know, it's a great setup for the World Cup finals, because this is a kind of similar arena that they'll face there. And that was a nice round, so much to like. 70.94, 4 faults there for Canada's Tiffany Foster. 70.94 and 4 for her in Northern Light. So 2 on 4, 2 on 8, 1 on 16. That's the scores from our first 5 through in round 1. 18 combinations still to come forward though. Lots of talent out there. Thanks to everyone who's also commenting on the FEI YouTube channel. If you're on there and you want to let me know where you're watching, and if you've got any questions, you can pop them in there. Someone's saying their favourite rider is Kent Farrington. That's Quinn. He is here. And he is competing tonight. Someone else saying Tiffany Foster's equestrian story is really inspiring and amazing. And Virginia Bonney saying the footing at the Royal is very excellent. Good amount of give upon landing. It really is, and they work so hard on this surface as well. Right, let's pick up the action once again. Be it Manly to Jean Terdon Z is next to feature. He's been a part of the sport for so many years. 3-time Olympian, 3 World Equestrian Games, 9 World Cup finals, European medals too. And Beat started this horse's international education at WEF last year. We've seen Katie Dynan ride the horse quite a lot over the past few months. I know she took it over to Dublin in Ireland, where she finished in the top 10. But Bea has been indoors with this horse recently. He was at the National Horse Show in Kentucky just last weekend. Hopefully that's given him a nice setup to come here. But Bea, it's a real nice rider to sit and watch. Very tidy. Oh, it's that same fence again. Just really comes at them off the corner. If you kind of watch Beat's hands, they're so tidy. You can barely see those kind of little checks and adjustments that he makes. Oh, that was lucky. Well, we've seen some very nice four-fault efforts tonight. That's 66.87 there for Beat Manly. So we've got 3 now tied at the top.
Jan has the fastest time, so should we get a score better than that, he would be the faster of our 3-4
So 3 tied on 4. Remember, if we don't see a clear, then we would jump off the 4 falters. But I think we will. I think we're going to see 4 or 5 clears in this. Summer Horse is asking, is it true in the FEI classes you can only show 1 horse? It's kind of true, Summer. It really depends on the competition and the wording in the schedule. So like any horse show, you know, there's this printed schedule and it'll tell you in each class, it's actually one of the lines in the text of how many horses you can compete. But certainly, you know, other shows where you've got like 100 in the class, you know, the kind of big horse shows that aren't so much of an event like this, you could have 2 or 3 in the class. Fly Girl's looking out for McLean Ward, he's also here. Chase is asking anyone watching who went to Washington. Well, I was there, Chase, if that counts. Katie Dynan's next. She represents the USA. Borrego R&B is the horse that she's bringing forward here into round number 1 of the Big Ben International Challenge. Been on very good form recently. Seen her finish top 3 in the Grand Prix. In fact, I saw her at Upperville in the Grand Prix there. That was a 4-star Grand Prix. She was 2nd. And this is a horse that she took to Leipzig for the World Cup finals earlier in the year. And this horse has actually got quite a high head carriage, but Katie likes the way he goes. He says that he gives her a real good feeling through the air. Let's watch this double. It's got so many. So you're really setting up carefully for this. Nicely in. Pushes out. It's certainly not over though. This is a real technical line. It's really kind of boxed into the corner there. Started off incredibly well though. And the final one comes down as well. Finishes on a total of 12, 74.20. Real shame there for Katie. 12 faults will be her total here tonight. Going to pop her down into 6th place at the moment. See how well she kind of sat up with her upper body, really tried to make the horse wait and kind of respect that plank. Yeah, real shame there. Sam Walker, one of the youngest in the field today. He brings forward Enzo. Sam, just 20 years of age. part of the team that picked up a bronze medal at the Youth Championships earlier this year. He's a former gold medalist at that same event. Now on the senior teams though as well, and has represented his country at 5-star Nations Cup level. This is such a new ride for Sam though. It's his second international with this horse. He took this one to Washington, that was the first. It was Kyle King that had this before Sam, and Kyle had some good finishes in the top 10 at the Spruce Meadows Masters this year. It's a real heartbreak to have the first fence, but you know, it's still much of a kind of getting to know you event there for Sam, and you can see he kind of just had to give him a little tap just to say, come on, let's keep moving forward. Sam's another one who's been coming here for years, another one who won the medal finals here when he was a little bit younger. And he's had such a great career. You'll probably remember he won the Macleays in his second year competing in the Big Eck, but I think this is going to be an exciting partnership to watch for the future. And Sam's really analytical, so he'll be using this as a bit of a fact-finding mission in there. And I think he's getting the feeling that the horse just isn't quite listening to his leg. He's just getting a little bit hung up in the air. And the final fence comes down as well. So again, a little bit disappointing for Sam tonight, but I think he'll take a lot away from that. He'll have his homework to do. Just tucking his tie in there on the way out, making sure he's looking a bit dapper to go back to the warm-up. But yeah, keep an eye on that pair. What do we think? Are we going to see a clear? I still think we're going to get 4 or 5. Plenty of people watching on the FEI Facebook page now as well. If you're watching on there, don't forget to hit that share button. Let all your friends know that they can get involved with the action here tonight as well. Hi to Darius Hudgens, watching from Richmond. Good to have you with us. Right, here is one of the best in the world. Current individual gold medalist, Ben Mayer. Ginger Blue is this right here in this Big Ben International Challenge tonight. Ben representing Great Britain. This is a horse that he's had for about 4 years now. I know this jumps well indoors. We saw him in second in the Grand Prix at the London International, what was formerly called Olympia, last year. Jumped well in Miami in the GCT down on the beach with this one. Horse has been in Florida over the summer, so Ben wasn't jumping the horse, but the team there have kept him really fit, and then Ben took the horse out at the end of September, won a $25,000 National Grand Prix. And this horse is naturally quick across the ground, and Ben just sometimes has to work to keep that enthusiasm under control. But if they can be clear in the first rounds, they will certainly add the pressure on in the jump-off. That was so lucky. Yellow cups, really delicate cups in the middle there. That pole rolled about for a while, but it's still in the cups. Energy just carried forward down the distance. It's quite a flat 4 strides down there. But great effort. The crowd certainly appreciating Ben Mayer. He finishes on the 4 faults, 67.62 and 4 there. Hi to Robin Wyman, who says she was at Capital Challenge and met me there. It was nice to meet you, Robin. Sheila's watching in West Virginia. Myron's watching in Texas at Canyon Lake. Good to have you with us as well. Don't forget, let me know where you're watching from. Remember, hit that share button if you are watching on Facebook Live. Marshall Taylor says no clears as yet. There's some super technical sections in this course. It certainly is, Marshall, but this is a 5-star event now. We've got some of the real top, cream of riders here. Like this man. World number 16, Kent Farrington, comes forward next. Kent really likes the kind of hyper careful type of a horse, and this one certainly fits into that category. He took over the ride of this last year. He's had some good results recently. Over the last couple of years, Kent's become a bit of a show organiser. Runs his own international at Greenwich. And with this horse, he was 6th in his own Grand Prix there. He's got some good lines, including Camilo plus Zed and Quadrilio as well. And the atmosphere in here tonight is absolutely electric. I can only imagine how loud it's going to be when we do see that first clear, and I really do think it's going to come. It could be from this man. He really thrives under pressure as well, so the fact we haven't seen a clear won't be on his mind. He'll just be getting the job done in there tonight. This horse is so careful. But as we've seen already, it's not over. This line takes some jumping. They've really got to watch the flat 4 strides in here. Come on, there's 1 left to go. Time allowed is perfectly fine. Is this going to be our first clear? It is all the way. Kent Farrington, Landon. Told you the crowd would be loud. 71.27. Great round there for Kent Farrington. He gives us that first clear tonight. What a partnership they are. And now it's game on. We look for that second clear to guarantee us a jump off. But great round there from Kent. You can see how that horse really kind of snaps up with the front legs. Really clean behind as well. Look at that. It's a horse you definitely want a stud guard with if you were outside and you had studs in. Nice job. Right, we need a second clear if we want to see a jump off tonight. Colleen Hoffman talking about Kent, saying that guy is amazing. Judy Campbell says, love watching the jump in. May the best person win and all stay safe. She's watching in Eastern Washington. Good to have you with us, Judy. Ted's in Summerdale. Kelly Edwards watching in California. Haley in Kenosha. Jody in Michigan. Roz is in Ontario. You should be here, Roz. Christine is in Oklahoma City. Sandy in Wyoming. Owen in Green Bay. Myron from Toronto watching in Canyon Lake. And in the ring now is Jos Verlooy. And Igor joins us representing Belgium. But a man that we've definitely seen here on more than one occasion at the Royal. He really likes this show. And this is a horse who knows that he's special. Yossi's dad went to see this horse as a 4-year-old. And as a 4-year-old, he was quite difficult. So he said to the breeder, just give him another year. And if he does get a little bit more kind of rideable, then give me a call. I'll come back, have another look. So the breeder did. A year on. And then Yossi's dad, Axel, bought the horse. The work riders on the yard brought him through the initial stages. And then Jos took over the ride when this one was a 9-year-old. It's now 14. It's by Emerald. And it's a good story actually because Yossi's family own Emerald. And this will be one of his kind of first horses that's kind of up there at the top level. And Bab de Rev on the other side, and Yossi's dad Axel is probably one of the biggest dealers in Europe, and he's here with Jos watching on. You could see how much Jos had to work down that line. He really had to hustle to get out of there. This is going to be a great setup for him for the World Cup here on Saturday. That could easily jump clear here on Saturday night. Tonight, though, going to finish on a total of 8. That's Jos Verlooy and Igor for Belgium. 73-25 and 8 faults here in the first round.
Through this turn, over the country comes the city. You really want to get down there on 5. You added the extra stride. Front rail comes down. And once you get off the rhythm.
Carrie Strecker's joined us on Facebook Live watching in Dallas. We've got Ginger in South Florida. Diane gets the award for the furthest away so far. She's in Australia. It's probably tomorrow or something there. Janice also enjoying it. Janice Mines, good to have you with us. Owen saying, Jos is a wonderful man, love his sense of humour. Kimberly in New Hampshire as well. And another one from Australia, Holly Jane in Adelaide. Good to have you with us. Let's get Roberto Teran underway now. Des Zakharov. This is Roberto's main horse. Horse he took to the World Championships and to Tokyo. One he's had the ride of for a couple of years now. Had some good finishes at Traverse City towards the end of August at 5-star level. But let's see if he can give us that second clear tonight. For those that are watching in Europe, you know, we're probably have more indoor shows over there than we see over this side of the world. So for some of these horses, or for most of these horses actually, this will either be their first or second time indoors this year. And this wouldn't be one of the smallest indoor rings, but the atmosphere is right on top of you. You know, the crowd quite close to the rail. And some of the horses you see, they grow about a hand when they come in here. And sometimes that's a good thing. There's a real buzz in the air. Come on, wait. Nice. Crowd jump every single fence with these horses. You can see taking that little checks, the little rub, that's fine. One fence left to go. Do we have a jump off? Yes, we do. All the way. 70.73 for Roberto Teran. So jump off is guaranteed. We are off to the races here tonight in the Big Ben International Challenge.
Oh, lovely trick there from the Colombian veteran. Just see through the turns. This time.
But he had to ride every stride to some of these fences, didn't he? You can see him moving up into this one. Then as soon as he landed here, really sitting up, using that upper body, getting the horse back and making him respect that delicate vertical on the other side.
Great job.
Alison Clark's joined us in Brooklyn. And Holly Jane's just telling me she's from Adelaide, and someone else from Australia is saying it's Friday lunchtime there. Diane, Friday lunch, it's like being in a time machine or something. Right, let's get Daniel Coyle underway now.
27-year-old rider represented Ireland at the 2022 World Championships in Denmark.
He's been on great form, actually. We saw him on the opening day of Washington International a couple of weeks ago. Had a win on the opening day. This is a horse that Daniel's been involved with since she was about 8 years old. Horse now a 12-year-old. It's by Chippendale Z, by a Bonamy mare. Out of a Bonamy mare. This is a bit of a opinionated mare. Daniel's groom gets on with the horse really well, and Daniel's trailed with this horse tremendously over the last few years. It's a horse, of course, that helped him clinch a medal at the World Championships. Been on a couple of very successful Nation Cup teams as well. And then we saw him in the World Cup with this horse at Washington, clear in the first round, had a rail on the jump off and ended up finishing 8th. Just to add to the drama, I think we've got a pigeon in the arena somewhere, so do keep an eye out for our friendly pigeon on the loose. I'm sure the riders will be. Daniel's been based in Canada and spending a lot of time in the States for, it must be 6, 7, maybe even 8 years now. Whoa, it's come down, caught the back bar. And his whole career is just, really, really developed so quickly, and he's right up there with the best of them now. But 69.65 is his time. And now we have the clears. Of course, those 4 fault rounds will be placed based on his time. He heads into 5th place, so 3rd fastest of the 5 that's set on 4 faults. Kent Farrington and Roberto Turan are 2 clears. Be it Manley, fastest of the 4s. Then it's Ben Mayer, then Daniel Coyle. Just couldn't quite stretch, and I think just sort of tapped it. It looked like it bounced out the cups. Lazaro is the next horse to feature. McLean Ward. Definitely one of the crowd favourites. On top form as ever.
Currently ranked 10th on the Longines World Rankings.
Let's see how he gets on here.
5-time Olympian, has 16 gold, 2 silver medals, and was the World Cup champion in Omaha, Nebraska in 2016.
Certainly needs no introduction, McLean. He's just done it all over the years. He's just off the back of a 3-star Grand Prix win at Greenwich. That was their 3rd show together. Brand new ride for him. This horse came from Michael Cristofoletti, who had the horse jumping in Europe. McLean was actually involved with the sale of this horse, the potential sale of this horse to a rider, but it just wasn't a good match. So McLean's decided to keep the ride for now, and it's just going so well. The horse is a little bit feisty sometimes, but just has tons of quality. McLean can get a good tune out of most horses, can he? Oh, catches that. I think so far that's been the fence that's come down the most. For those that do have an early rail, I think they will be thinking about the times now. Trying to pick up some prize money. 69.60 answered some of the more technical parts of this course with such ease, and then just has the first part of that double down. So we'll finish on the 4. 69.60 heads into 5th place at this stage. He's had a good week so far. He had a win here with Kentucky last night.
Pretty much did everything right.
Kimberly Dwinnell saying, "Go Daniel."
Down they go.
Janice May says, "Wonderful seeing so many second-generation riders carrying on such a high international level." Leslie's watching in Ottawa. Owen says, "The pitching's just trying to make it feel more like an outdoor show." Well, let's hope it helps. And Judy's saying, "Good try," referring to McLean's ride there. Right, back to the home nation we go. Now, this is a partnership that really know each other inside out. Mario Delorier is next. Bardolino. Horse he took to the Olympic Games in Tokyo. That was Mario's 3rd Games. We saw this horse jump the World Cup in Washington, was double clear there, finished 6th. 3rd in the 155 Grand Prix at Greenwich, part of the Nations Cup team that went to Spruce Meadows. You get the idea, they've had a good year so far. And I think in the time they've sort of been together, this horse has probably been a little bit trickier than some others Mario's had. The horse doesn't always seem to come out the same. Mario really has to react to whatever he gets on the day when he gets in the ring. But now they've been together so long, he's just has a great relationship with the horse. adjustable he has to be. Does he have to wait in here or push? Is this going to be our Canadian clear? Boy, the crowd here would love that, wouldn't they? Yes, it is. Clear for Canada. 68.45. And through to the jump off he goes. He's in such good company alongside Roberto Turan and Kent Farrington. But that's 3 clears now. 3 clear at this stage. 8 combinations left to come here in the first round as well. But boy, will it be an exciting jump off when we get there.
Really cuts into the turn with such great stroke and athleticism. Mario sees the shot right out of the turn. Really trusts it.
Shauna Wilson's watching on the YouTube channel, watching from Ireland. Melissa says it must be cold in Toronto right now. Well, normally at this time of year, it's absolutely freezing. But I think this has been the mildest Royal Horse Show I remember. And I've been coming here for 8 or 9 years now. Now, this is going to be an interesting one. Connor Swale is on absolute fire at the moment. World number 5. He's leading the North American World Cup standings. He had a victory in Sacramento with vital chance. Then he took this horse to the World Cup in Washington, landed in the winner's circle there. It's the horse he took to the World Cup finals in Leipzig. He finished 8th. He was 8th in the Grand Prix at Aachen. A win with this horse at Spruce Meadows, 2nd in the Grand Prix at Dublin. I mean, you get the picture. And if he gets to the jump off with this, he could be unbeatable. And this horse again has been competing in these big open arenas. You know, if you think of the ones I've mentioned there, Dublin's, Aachen, Spruce Meadows. So we'll see that test of adjustability, but it's certainly not fazed them. You know, seeing their performance in the World Cup in Washington, that adjustability just seems to come so easy. Oh. And that extra pace just carries through. It's like a boulder rolling down a hill through that double. But again, you know, keep an eye on this partnership when it comes to Saturday night in the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup Toronto. They would definitely be the bookmakers' favourites if there was betting. This will be a great setup for them now. Connor will know exactly what he needs to do here on Saturday night. But today he's going to finish on the 8 faults, 70.79 and 8 there for Connor Swale of Ireland. Moves him down into 12th place.
Well, the rest of the jump off is just breathes a sigh of relief because this pair are lightning quick in a jump off. I don't think Connor will be too discouraged.
Wendy says she remembers snow here some years. Yes, so do I. Again, if you have just joined us on Facebook Live, don't forget to hit that share button. You can share it to any groups that you're a member of. Let people know they can enjoy the action here in Toronto. If you want to ask any questions, any comments, let me know where you're watching. Pop it in the comments box below. You can do the same on the YouTube channel as well. Charlie's saying, what height are these fences? Are they 150? They're a little bit bigger across the course. The second part of the triple combination is 155. Fence 3 right off the corner is 155. Fence 2 is 155. So I'd say on average most of the course is about 155. Israel's where we're heading forward to next. Daniel Blumen rides. Gemma W.
Gemma W and Israel's Daniel Blumen.
He was 2nd in the World Cup in Washington. He's just beaten by Connor Swale, who we just saw. He's got a good string at the moment, though. He was in Kentucky for the National Horse Show last weekend. Won there with Ladriano Zed. Daniel's a 2-time Olympian. He was actually meant to go to the Olympics with this horse, and it was an admin error that meant that he couldn't. And that was a shame, because this horse was so ready for the games. It's got all the quality in the world. It's that back bar and the triple bar again. Look at that stretch. You really need to try and get as close as you can to the front of the triple bar. Oh, and then just catches the last. Looks like he just jumped at an angle and caught the front rail. Lots to like from that round. And again, you couldn't rule him out, could you, when it comes to the World Cup here on Saturday? Going to be 8 faults, though, for Daniel Blumen, 67.58.
Daniel, all the way through 10. It's a gut-wrenching feeling when you suddenly know you're in no man's land.
Ellen Kay says she's watching a couple of hours down the 401 in Stratford. Says, don't worry, it's about to get good and cold here in Ontario. I hope you brought your parka. Well, I've got plenty of warm jackets when I come to the Royal. Kelly Edwards is asking, where are you going next? I am going to Las Vegas next week, following the World Cup Tour. Straight from here, we fly on Sunday. A few opening days, and then, of course, World Cup next week in Las Vegas. Let's come back to the home nation now, and let's come to Amy Miller. Truman. This is the horse she took to the World Championships this year. Jumped a nice double clear in the Nations Cup at Spruce Meadows during the Masters tournament. This is a horse that Amy, oh, that was lucky, started riding when he was 7. He's 13 now. It's by My Lord Cathargo. I think she's used up all her luck now. It's an exciting time for Amy because she's got this horse, and then Cristiano has been the second horse on the string, but really starting to step up. Come on, Amy, be careful down here. Whoa. Can't do that on this next fence. It will come down. Nicely done. Gets in good and close. Oh, one to come. Are we going to see another Canadian jump clear? Boy, the crowd would like that here. Wait till you hear them. Yes! All the way, 71.92. Amy Miller, clear for Canada. That big smile says it all. The horse she took to the World Championships will feature in our jump off against the clock. 2 for Canada, 1 for Colombia, and 1 for the USA. Kent Farrington, Roberto Turan, Mario Delorier, and Amy Miller. That's the clears we have at this stage. And the crowd are still cheering here in Toronto. Sheila Wise says, go Amy. Wendy says, what's the time allowed? It's 75 seconds time allowed. Ellen Kay says, way to go, Amy. Ellen watching on YouTube Live. Duke says, will be a great jump off. Certainly will. Don't forget, Kent Farrington's going first. If he goes clear, that'll certainly put the pressure on. Spots of the World says, can't wait for Saturday if it's anything like tonight. Yeah, don't forget the World Cup, though, not on Facebook or YouTube. You have to watch that on FEI TV. The highlights with me will also be on CBS Sports and networks around the world as well. All right, handful left. Handful left to come.
So the 4 cleared for the U.S., 1 for Colombia.
Some great riders out in the wings, waiting to come forward here.
Our next competitor to join us here.
Carrie Ruffer's watching online. She's going to be in Vegas, no doubt jumping the World Cup. Watching from their new place in La Quinta. Her and Kevin that got married quite recently. Look forward to seeing you guys out there. Judy Burns says, awesome competition. And so good to be watching from Florida. But it's a little bit warmer in Florida, Judy. Just a short pause and we'll see that next combination come forward.
got your plan.
Someone asking how many competitions are there in the series. In the World Cup series, remember this isn't a World Cup tonight, World Cup here on Saturday, but there's 8 legs in the North American League, but there's various World Cup leagues all around the world. And then you qualify from your league to come to the finals, and this time round the finals are going to be in Omaha, Nebraska, and I remember being at the finals the last time they were there, and again the atmosphere was just incredible. I don't want to say there's not that much to do in Omaha, but there's not that much to do in Omaha, so the whole town was out and the grandstands were packed, so definitely worth, if you can, coming to those finals. Right, let's pick up the action once again. Rodrigo Pessoa is next to go. Major Tom. Rodrigo, another one that's been a part of the sport for so many years. 6-time Olympian, 6 World Equestrian Games, 13 World Cup finals, 2 Pan Am Games, and 2 Nations Cup finals. He's been jumping this one internationally for about a year now. Been stepping him up for a while. Jumped a couple of big Grand Prix. But in terms of indoor jumping, I think, you know, over the last few weeks, we saw him at Harrisburg at a national show with this one, and that was probably the most technical. He jumped this one indoors, obviously he's done plenty outdoors. He's another great rider. And to be fair, I think he's probably got one of the most exciting strings he's had for a while. He was 6th in the World Cup in Kentucky at the National Horse Show last weekend with a horse called Quick Step. Another win with a horse called Venice Beach 2 weeks before that. So he's certainly on form. This is a real tricky line, but he is on good form. Right, round to the last. Come on, Rodrigo. Up he goes. Safely through. 71.82. Rodrigo Pessoa goes through. Major Tom. Adding another nation to our jump off as well. Now Colombia's there, the USA's there, Canada's got 2, and Brazil has Rodrigo Pessoa going through.
Great trade from Rodrigo, Major Tom. Really tough when you got the horses, not 100% sure, but what a masterful trip.
Fly Girls watching on YouTube says Rodrigo's a lovely rider. And Xanthi says, what's your favourite country in terms of scenery? She's in New Zealand at the moment, and I think that's her favourite. I think for me it'd have to be Thailand. I went there for the Asian Championships a couple of years ago, and it was so nice. Joe Gregg says, nice to see Rodrigo jumping so well. Way to go, Rodrigo. Way to go indeed, and he will be back a little bit later. Right, let's get Margie Engel underway. She's next. Deaconess is the horse that she brings forward. Another crowd favourite, been part of the sport for so many years. I can't count how many World Cup finals Margie's been to, but it's a lot. She's done it all. And this horse is massive. It's over 18 hands, but it handles the size of these indoor rings really well. You know, last season she was 4th in the World Cup at Fort Worth. She was 7th at the National Horse Show in Kentucky last year. And actually he knows he's big and he likes to help, so when Margie comes to put his bridle on, luckily he does put his head down, because otherwise she'd have no chance. She's like a pea on a drum. He's so playful in the barn. And he's got talents, he can even undo shoelaces. Fun fact. Oh. See her just keep everything together around to really contain that energy, light in the front end. Come on, Margie. Just catches that back bar. Now she might just try and move forward a little bit. There's going to be some good prize money tonight for the fastest 4. And this horse eats up the ground. And you wouldn't try and turn inside with this one round towards the last. You know, just got such a big stride. She can keep the time, doing not too bad by just going around and keep moving forward, but she's going to head down into 12th at the moment. That was a real shame, just catching that back bar. Such a nice big horse, though.
Really good effort here through triple combination. Once right in.
Rushed Equestrian says some of these horses make it look so effortless with such elegance. Someone else saying, go Marge, you can't believe she's still competing at this level. She's at the top of her game as well. She's so hungry every time she comes in the ring. Still so hungry. Andrea's talking about Dika's saying, gorgeous horse, long strides. Don't forget, if you are watching online, you can get involved with the conversation. Any questions, comments, pop them in the box below. Don't forget to hit that share button. And while you do that, we'll get Kristen van der Veen underway. Bull Run's Prince of Peace.
33-year-old rider has represented the U.S. in 2 World Cup finals.
Good to see Kristen.
14 international wins.
Another one, you know, if she can get into the jump off is always fun to watch. Early rail. So now we have to look at the 4 fault times. The fastest 4 faulter at the moment is Be It Manley. He's in 6th place, and he's there goes that plan. So in terms of prize money now, she is out. It's all the clears and all the 4s making up the top 12. So now it comes about, you know, setting up for, I would imagine, the World Cup here on Saturday for them. And she'll know that she can, if she wants, you know, use as much room as she wants, go as slow as she wants. She can just use her time in the ring here now. It's all academic. Came in with a lot of power to the triple bar. I think that energy just carried forward down that kind of flat 4-stride distance. And the last one comes down as well. 76.82. It does pick up a couple of time faults. But again, she wouldn't really be thinking about the time. You know, once you've had a couple of rails, you know you're not going to be in the stand-ins, and you can just, you know, go as wide as you like. But again, hopefully that's given her a good setup for later in the weekend. Not many left to come now, sitting on 5 clears at the moment. Glenn Johnson says, enjoying the show. Myra Nichols says, she is always fast. Rushed Equestrian says, what time is it over there? We're in the Eastern time zone, so it's 10:15 at night. Chase says, is it not heated? I think we do have heating in here, and I can tell you it's absolutely roasted in here tonight.
World rank number 36 on the Longines World Rankings. Coronado was 12th in our power and speed at the opening class for the international.
Right, let's get the first of our final couple underway. NAL Nassar next for Egypt. Coronado. Now another top-class athlete who's represented his country at the very highest level. This horse had a little bit of downtime in the spring and a fairly light summer, just sort of building back up. Then Niall went to Dublin, had a win there. Went to Spruce Meadows, the Masters tournament in September, won a 5-star competition there. Just had one down with this horse in the 3-star Grand Prix at Greenwich. This is a nice horse. I remember Francisco Pascual in Mexico having this one. Some good results, and then Niall took over the ride last summer. If he can go clear, don't forget he'd have a good draw, because they come back in the same order as they jump clear in the first round. And all he's got to do is jump this big oxer. Time's okay. Oh! The last fence. Oh, that was so unlucky. Just catches the back rail. 71.28. And just to add a bit of insult to injury there, he's the slowest of the 4 falters, who's going to be out the money today as well. But that was a real heartbreak. And the horse jumped its heart out all the way around tonight. That's show jumping though, isn't it? Such a leveler. Martha's asking, is there a World Cup qualifier in Texas this year? Yes, at Fort Worth. It's in December. I shall be there, just for the World Cup. But yeah, there is one. And Jenna says, some of the competitors' horses seem inexperienced either at this height or indoors. Well, of course, we see a mixture of horses in all the competitions. You know, some more experienced than others. Some are moving up levels, moving down levels. And I mentioned earlier, you know, over in North America, a lot of the shows are outdoors, you know, big open arenas. And then we come to quite a kind of condensed calendar of the indoor period where all of a sudden they're indoors and they have to look for that adjustability. You don't have the same space or the same time between questions. Right, last to go in the first round of the Big Ben International Challenge is Nick Delajoy of Cornets, Cambridge. He can get through. I mean, he would come last to go on the jump off. He'd know exactly what needs to be done. He comes in with good form. If you were watching the National Horse Show in Kentucky last weekend, he was second in the World Cup there, just missed out. Another one who was on Nations Cup duty at Spruce Meadows as well. Oh, wait. Nice job. One fence to come. Can he do it? Yes, he can. 67.78. Nick Delajoy for the United States of America. Safely through to the jump off, and it will be 6 that will battle it out against the clock. Nick Delajoy's in there. Rodrigo Pessoa, Amy Miller, Mario Delorier, Roberto Turan, and Kent Farrington. And he had to ride, didn't he? Down that line, that skinny fence, it didn't actually cause too many problems, but they all certainly had to ride down to it. Well, that concludes the first round of competition. We can see the ring crew who work so hard. They do a great job here. They're jumping into action. Going to get some of the material taken out. Going to make adjustments to some of these fences. And then we're going to see a very exciting jump off against the clock. If you've just joined us on Facebook Live, you've come at a good time because we're off to the races in a sec. But don't forget, you can get involved with the conversation. Let me know where you're watching. If you've got any questions, any comments, you can pop them in the box below. Helen McFarlane's watching. Good to have you with us, Helen. David Goodsoul says the Royals are very difficult to ring at this level. It's on the small side, and the rounded corners don't allow you to use all the corners to balance your horse up as well. Yeah, to be honest, David, it's not one of the smallest indoors that we see, you know, at this level. But you're absolutely right about the round corners. You know, the course designer has another tool in his toolbox to use because we are so used to riding in squares and rectangles. But in a way, I quite like it. It was the same at Washington this year. Although it's not an international, I had an international field, Harrisburg. Another show over here in Pennsylvania. It's got round corners. Sergey's watching. Good to see you on there, Sergey. I met Sergey when he was working at Spruce Meadows. And I think the last time I seen him, we were at the Youth Championships in Beijing together. Some good nights had there. Kelly Edwards says she's shouting for Kent Farrington. So if you're watching online, let me know who you will be at home cheering for. Will it be Kent Farrington representing the US? Roberto Teran if you're going for Colombia. If you're representing Canada at home, then you've got two choices, Mario Delorier or Amy Miller. Then we've got Brazil's Rodrigo Pessoa and then Nick Delajoyo for the USA as well. So Nick Delajoyo, Rodrigo Pessoa, Amy Miller, Mario Delorier, Roberto Teran, Kent Farrington. Who's your money on? Who will you be cheering for? Feel free to let me know. And Martha Bowen's going for Kent as well. Andrea's just going for the USA. Doesn't care who it is, one of the two. She doesn't mind as long as it's USA. Jake's going to be shouting for Kent. Xanthi says the Aussie rider as it's closest to New Zealand. No one from Australia in there, I'm afraid. Quinn says Kent Farrington and Landon. Even though she's Canadian, we won't tell anyone, Quinn. Clara's going for Amy Miller. Shanna's going for Rodrigo. Dan Wolf says Kent. Rhonda says Mario Delorier. Miss Clark's edging her bet. She's going for Kent and Rodrigo. H. Clark's going Kent. Rushed Equestrian, Amy Miller. Fly Girl says I love Kent and Rodrigo. Well, you can have two if you want. We can change the rules. Michaela wants Rodrigo to win. Char wants just Canada to win. Kent doesn't mind. Joe Gregg says I'm cheering for Rodrigo. That's Joe in San Francisco. And Duke says yeah, I'll be happy if Nick wins or Amy. Marshall's pulling for Amy. Multi-purpose Mutt says my bet's on Kent. Love these YouTube names as well. Caitlin Hope says Roberto's very speedy. Alan Kay says Amy all the way. Being a Big Ben fan was a huge part of childhood, and of course this competition's named after that very horse. So what a story that would be if now the next generation of Millers can come in and win this. Charlie says Mario Delorier just because I'm an old man doing this still at a much lower level. Never too old to ride. Rose says I'm so lucky to get onto this in time. You've just made it. We're getting ready for that jump off. Tracy says have to root for Amy. And Ms. Clark's going to completely open things up. Says all of them. May the best combo win. Can't bet on them all. PHS Flash Mob 2010 says Amy. Sienna says I'm going for the USA. Chase says, why do they turn the lights off every time they drag? Because this is like an event, Chase. This isn't just like a horse show. This is a properly like produced big event. You know, they've got haze. We had a laser show earlier. So it's just like the theatre, you know, half time. The lights come up at the theatre. So it's like the opposite of the theatre, actually. But same sort of thing. And now, as if by magic, the stage is set, the lights come up, and we're good to go. Robin Wyman says, Kent or Nick. And it would be great for Amy to win her father's Big Ben trophy. Absolutely. Marion says, have all these horses flown? Yeah, the ones that kind of stay, you know, within the US may have travelled. You know, sometimes they travel for 2 or 3 days across land, but they will obviously have stop-offs. They can't travel all that way. And Sergio from Wellington says Kent first, Mario second, and Rodrigo third. I mean, he's got the whole result sorted. Adam Storm says Nick. Wendy's gone for Amy. Ted says Kent or Nick. Ginny Campbell, both the USA riders. Tracy says exactly the same. Carol's going for Kent. Martha's Kent. Wow. So many people getting involved. Thank you so much. Right, let's get this jump off underway, shall we? We'll have a quick look at the course. Wendy says, who's the course designer? Perfect 6. Michelle Vaillancourt, Canadian course designer. Level 4, top level course designer. And only right to have a Canadian here as we celebrate a century of champions. 100 years this event is celebrating this year. Right, jump off time. Here we go, starting over 8B. So second part of that double. Remember, that was a double in the first round. The first part came down a lot, second part didn't. This is really going to give them something to chase if Kent goes clear. This is Kent, Farrington and Landon. So he clears over 8B. From here, left-handed, roll back, tight as you dare, vertical at fence 2. Then you land right-handed, again really slick over that vertical at 3. 4AB now, Oxer vertical. And then you're thinking about that right-handed roll back through here. How tight can they go? Jumps over the Oxer at 6. 2 efforts left. This one backwards now is 15. And then it's all about risk and reward. This is the final fence. And he is going to be clear. He gives them something to chase. 34-15. Kent Farrington for the USA sets a standard here tonight. What do we think, though? Has he done enough? He was slick, he was tight, he was forward, he was careful.
And a quick time check from the others coming up. And Kent landed coming out of the double, out of 4B, 17 seconds.
And remember, you know, these guys, although they're warming their horses up, they've got their spies at the gate, so they'll know. And there's video screens out in the warm-up as well, so they can see the ring when they're out there. They'll know they now have to really fly. Judy Campbell says, great job, Kent. Quinn loves that player. Jenna's watching in Mexico. Fly Girl says, woohoo, Kent. Jenny says, made it look easy. Marshall says, well, now it's up to the riders to do better if they want to. Yeah, I mean, all these horses at different levels, different stages, and different plans as well this week. They all know they're going to get a good finish, though. 6 go through. And this is Roberto Turan. Des Okatov. So we know that track now. We know where they have to turn tight. And we know that Kent set them a real tough test. But, you know, if someone does have a bit of a younger horse in here, or one that they're perhaps saving, they'll stick to their original plan. Oh, lucky through there. That's come down now. You've got to keep moving forward because, you know, everyone else could end up having 4 faults. And then, of course, we look to the times to separate. So, got to stick to that plan. Moves forward to the last. And Roberto Turan will finish on 4, 36.65. And 4 faults here in the jump off of the Big Ben International Challenge. Rolando was shouting for Roberto, so was Taylor Rooney saying, Roberto, let's go. Sadly, he will finish on the 4.
Got into the double nicely. You know, Kent was, I would say, steady.
Tracy Lamping says you have to love Kent. Well, let's see if he's done enough, though. Some quick ones still to come. Nick Delajoy or Rodrigo Pessoa.
Just not coming around the turn for him.
Amy Miller, Mario Delorier. All still to feature. And it is Mario Delorier who joins us now. Bardolina.
Here's the first of the 2 Canadians in tonight's jump off, Mario Delorier.
The crowd will be cheering for Mario.
Target 10:34.15.
Right, come on, Mario. Yeah, but this is the horse he's taken to the Olympic Games. He's done everything with this horse. It really eats up the ground. He knows he's got the adjustability on his side. And to win in front of a home crowd would mean so much. I think so far they're pretty neck and neck. 34.15 to beat in total. Come on, turn, turn, turn. Moving forward. Oh, takes a check. Oh, but catches the rail. Pushes on down towards this final fence. He wouldn't have been far away. 34.72. Very good try there. But 4 faults for Mario Delorier representing Canada. Heads into second. So one clear from Kent Farrington, 34.15. Fastest of the four falters, Mario Delorier sitting second, 34.72. Then on four with 36.65 is Roberto Terran, and he sits in third place. Halfway stage of our jump off. Have we seen our winner yet? So much love coming in from Kent on YouTube and on Facebook Live. And this is another one for Canada now. Amy Miller and Truman. Remember, this competition is named after the horse that her dad had so much success with, Big Ben. What a story it would be if she could get her name on the trophy here tonight. Just back from the World Championships, been on numerous Nations Cups teams. But she's really going to have to pull it out the bag to try and catch Kent's time. Come on, Amy. My turn. Go, Amy. Come on, get up. 2 efforts left.
She's got to push on.
Real shame. 37.71. Finishes on 4 there. Amy Miller for Canada. But really jumped a superb first round. At the moment heads into 4th place, steadiest to the 4 fault rounds. 1 double clear from Kent Farrington. The rest of the athletes so far come in under pressure and are sitting on 4 faults.
We are down to 2 to go.
2 left. Rodrigo Pessoa is next. Major Tom. Again, this horse isn't actually quick across the ground. It is a little bit quirky. You won't be able to see on your screens, but Rodrigo had to walk this one down the tunnel, and then it got on just outside the ring. So let's have its little quirks, but don't forget, all the best horses do tend to have a quirk or two. But let's see how he gets on here. We know he's got to be tight. We know he's got to be forward. He's just been slick so far, hasn't he? Well, Kent Farrington's sitting somewhere, feeling rather comfortable at the moment, because he knows there's just 1 left to come. The rest of them, it's been a jump off of the 4 falters, but it still comes down to the time, so they've still got to keep moving. And does finish on 4, 36.67. Goes 4th at the moment. 1 left to come. Into 4th there for Rodrigo Pessoa, representing Brazil. But this horse is funny because you can see how quirky and kind of a bit spooky and stuff, and then as soon as it starts jumping, its mind is just completely focused and on the job. Right, 1 combination left to go. And what would you do if you were riding? Because you know now you can go as steady as you like, have a couple of time faults if you want, and you'll still finish 2nd. Or would you still try and chase Kent Farrington's time of 34.15? Remember, no one with a rail so far has managed to catch Kent's time. There is a temptation just to go for that steady clear, but don't forget, if you do that and then have a rail late on course, it really backfires because you end up moving from, potentially 2nd all the way down to the bottom of the leaderboard. So I think sometimes you just got to stick with that original plan, haven't you? don't overcook it, and just go for what you planned when you walked the course. But let's see how this chapter of the story here at the Royal is going to play out tonight. Has Kent done it? It's not over, is it? Look, he's going for it. Got to leave him up though. Oh, tight in here. Come on, get up. Now he moves forward. Ooh. Turn. He's certainly not going for the slow, steady clear. This is going to go right to the wire here tonight. Now it's all about this gallop to the finish. 34.15 to beat. Oh, he's done it. 32.53. Nick Delajoyo will take that victory here tonight. The pressure was on. No one else managed to catch Kent Farrington. He was sitting comfortably. And then Nick Delajoyo comes in and lays down such a stellar effort here tonight. What a win. What a partnership. Great round there. It is Nick Delajoyo who will take that victory here. Well, what a competition. I hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as I have. Congratulations once again to Nick Delajoyo. He will take the victory here in the Big Ben International Challenge. And of course, lots of sports still to enjoy. I'm back tomorrow night with another show jumping class here on FEI, Facebook and YouTube, and of course on Clip My Horse. And then the big one, the World Cup here on Saturday on FEI TV and Clip My Horse, so make sure you join us for that. I'm going to nip down and try and catch up with the winner. But thank you to everybody who's been joining in with the conversation. Always great to chat with you guys. And of course, we'll be back here tomorrow night, but enjoy your evening or your morning or whatever time it is. And I'll speak to you again very soon.
And horses and riders, our top four will be back here for the prize giving ceremony. And we'll get catch a word with Nick Delajoyo here, our winner, in just a moment. So as the prize giving gets set to get underway, again we will be welcoming back the top four in our jump off tonight. 2 on clears, 2 are fastest fours to round out the top 4 placings.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your winner, Nick Delajoyo. Well, Nick, you went in, you had all the pressure on you tonight. Tell us about that jump off.
I had the luxury of going last. My horse jumped great the first round. Last week in Kentucky, he jumped great in the World Cup, giving me a lot of confidence. McLean gave me a great tip from 1 to 2. Stuck with that. That really helped. And I think that kind of just gave me the edge for the rest of the track.
I mean, Kent came in first to go, laid down a lot of pressure. Do you kind of watch the kind of previous rounds and change your plan, or how does it work?
Well, watching somebody like Kent's hard because he's so smooth and so fast, so it's hard to tell, you know, like how much he's actually going for it. But I think I watched him. We both have similar strides, and then I think I was just probably a little more aggressive in the beginning. But yeah, super helpful.
And tell us about this horse. What's it like to ride? How did you come to have it? So special.
Yeah, he's super special. I think finding a horse like this is just about luck, being in the right place in the right time. You know, he was in the capital of Europe, basically, of where everyone goes horse shopping, and they kind of passed him. So I think just lucky.
And finally, how amazing is this crowd and to be here in
not
Toronto?
Normal. Thank you guys all so
We
much.
love it,
not
don't
normal.
we?
Unbelievable. By far my favorite show so far.
Yeah, it's such a great show.
Thank
Nick,
you.
thanks very much. Enjoy it. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Nick Delajoyo.
Joining us to make the presentation of our Big Bend Challenge, we have in the winner's circle Mark Rain and Tara Dowrain, who will join us again to make that presentation to Nick Delajoyo for the United States with Cornets Cambridge. Entry from the Berry Group. Oh, as we set up the win photo, and again, we salute our rider, Nick Delajoyo, Cornets Cambridge. And we will ask you all to please join us and rise and remove cover as we celebrate the win with the playing of the national anthem of our winning rider. You join us for the national anthem of the United States. Well, our congratulations to Nick Delajoyo for the United States with the win on Cornets Cambridge. And Mark and Tara will head over to greet our second place rider tonight, and that is Kent Farrington. Kent was aboard High Dave McNerney's 9-year-old gelding Landon, the first clear, and Challenger made it tough for the rest of our riders here as they all tried to chase him down, but Nick Delajoyo was able to pull off that feat. Down to our third place finisher is Mario Delorier and Bardolina for the Wishing Well Farm LLC and Mario Delorier. And the top four rounded out by Roberto Turan from Colombia on Des Uchtdorf. Maria Camila Gonzalez and Roberto Turan's entry, as well as Lola Turan, as we salute our top four. And now, Nick, one last order of business. If you would, lead us off on that round of honor, Nick Delajoyo and Cornets Cambridge.
Nick followed by Kent Farrington and Landon for the United States, Mario Delorier and Bardolina for Canada, and for Colombia, Dezuktov and Roberto Terran. Ladies and gentlemen, be sure to join us on Saturday night as we bring down the house with a presentation of the Hickstead Trophy at the $250,000 Longines FEI World Cup Jumping, Toronto. Good night, everyone, and again, we will see you all Saturday night here, hopefully, for our presentation of the Hickstead Trophy and our Longines FEI World Cup Jumping, Toronto. Good night.
¿Qué hago yo? Primero vas a poner tu bolso, va a ser dos. O sea, le vas a poner dos bolsos. Luego, lo primero que tienes que hacer es recoger toda la basura del piso, recoger toda la basura. Ahora, ¿qué hago yo para hacerlo más rápido? Nada más ya cuando estés que vayas a barrer, literal, vete, no pueden venir restos de comida, restos de margaritas, eso es lo más importante. Yo, mira, por ejemplo, yo me agarro aquí van a poner un bill de aquí dos bolsitos bebidas y ya después y luego te vas a pues sí, cuando no está mojado pero lo vas a ver más porque terminando de barrer, de recoger y barrer, te vas a la de allá y al igual barrer solo mis popotes. Ajá, sí, no, nada más. Y ya que terminaste tenemos que ir por la barra para que vean. Pero igual, también nada más. O sea, nosotros por lo general nada más mopeamos donde está sucio, pero ahorita se lo hace. Ya te vas a dar cuenta, o donde está pegado. Sí.
We made it. How's he been? Perfect?